If you like this video, you can subscribe, turn on the bell, share it, like it, and write comments so that this channel can provide more videos.
Product owner. The product owner is responsible for guiding the direction of the product. Product owners rank the work based on its business value. Product owners work with their teams daily by providing product feedback and setting direction on the next piece of functionality to be developed and delivered. The product owner works with stakeholders, customers, and the teams to define the product direction. Typically, product owners have a business background and bring deep subject matter expertise to the decisions. Product owners need training on how to organize and manage the flow of work through the team. In Agile, the product owners create the backlog for and with the team. The backlog helps the team see how to deliver the highest value without creating waste. A critical success factor for Agile teams is strong product ownership. Development life cycles. Development life cycles can be predictive, iterative, incremental, adaptive, or a hybrid model. In a predictive life cycle, the project scope, time, and cost are determined in the early phases of the life cycle. In an iterative life cycle, the project scope is generally determined early in the project life cycle, but time and cost estimates are routinely modified as the project team's understanding of the product increases. In an incremental life cycle, the deliverable is produced through a series of iterations that successively add functionality within a predetermined timeframe. Adaptive life cycles are agile, iterative, or incremental. The detailed scope is defined and approved before the start of an iteration. Adaptive life cycles are also referred to as agile or change-driven life cycles. In a hybrid life cycle, requirements will be elaborated at periodic intervals during delivery. Uncertainty, risk, and life cycle selection. Some projects have uncertainty around project requirements, and they also have uncertainty around technology. As project uncertainty increases, so too does the risk of rework and the need to use a different approach. To mitigate the impact of these risks, teams select life cycles that allow them to tackle projects with high amounts of uncertainty via small increments of work. Teams can verify their work when they use small increments and can change what they do next. When teams deliver small increments, they are more able to understand the true customer requirements faster and more accurately than with a static written specification. Teams can plan and manage projects with clear and stable requirements and clear technical challenges with little difficulty. However, as the uncertainty in the project increases, the likelihood of changes, wasted work, and rework also increases, which is costly and time-consuming. Many teams discover that when they explore the requirements iteratively and deliver more often incrementally, the teams adapt to changes more easily. Backlog preparation. The backlog is the ordered list of all the work presented in story form for a team. There is no need to create all of the stories for the entire project before the work starts, only enough to understand the first release and then sufficient items for the next iteration. Product owners might produce a product roadmap to show the anticipated sequence of deliverables over time. Backlog refinement. In the middle of the iteration, the product owner often works with the team to prepare some stories for the next iteration. The purpose of these meetings is to refine enough stories so the team understands what the stories are and how large the stories are in relation to each other. predominantly predictive approach with some Agile components. It is a small Agile element within a chiefly predictive project. In this case, a portion of the project with uncertainty or complexity is being tackled in an Agile way, but the remainder of the project is being managed using predictive approaches. While the majority of the project may be routine and predictable, like many other facility projects the organization has undertaken before, the project incorporates a new technology. The contractor may plan for some small-scale installation trials on the ground first to determine the best installation method and to uncover issues early while there is plenty of time to solve them, and incrementally improve processes through experimentation and adaptation. The second Agile Manifesto value is working software over comprehensive documentation. Agile does not eliminate documentation, but it streamlines it in a form that gives the developer what is needed to do the work. Agile documents requirements as user stories which are sufficient for a software developer to begin the task of building a new function. The Agile Manifesto values documentation, but it values working software more. Agile project teams produce fewer, more streamlined documents that take less time to maintain and provide better visibility into potential issues. Often, the only documentation needs are requirements documentation. All projects have requirements, details about product features and needs. Development teams need to know those needs to create a product. Product technical specifications. Documenting how you created a product can make future changes easier. With Agile approaches, project teams spend more time on development and less time on documentation, resulting in a more efficient delivery of a working product. The backlog is the ordered list of all the work presented in story form for a team. There's no need to create all of the stories for the entire project before the work starts, only enough to understand the first release and then sufficient items for the next iteration. Agile teams measure results. Sponsors usually want to know when the project will be done. Once the team establishes a reliable velocity, which is average story points per iteration, the team can predict how much longer the project will take. That is why the team needs to wait until a couple of iterations are completed so that they can give the sponsor a good estimate, which is empirical and value-based measurements. On the other hand, traditional project team can give the sponsor a predictive measurements which is not accurate and it is subject to big changes. Let us take an example that can explain why the team should not give the sponsor an early estimate and wait until the work of the team becomes stable. If we look at this burndown chart, and let us assume that the team are given the sponsor the estimate of project completion after completing Area A. This estimate will not be correct because in Area B, there is no story points completed. Therefore, the correct estimate is much less than what has been submitted to the sponsor. Also, in Area C, there is some story points completed, while in Area D, there is no work completed. Therefore, submitting the estimate when the project is in Area E would give the sponsor a better estimate of the project completion. As the product owner refines the stories remaining, and as the team refines its estimates, the project estimate could go up or down, but the team can provide an estimate. If the team averages a cycle time of 4 days per story, and there are 20 remaining stories, the team would have 80 business days remaining, approximately 3 months. As an example, if the team averages 30 story points per iteration, and the team estimates there are about another 330 points remaining, the team estimates it has about 11 iterations remaining.
If you like this video, you can subscribe, turn on the bell, share it, like it, and write comments so that this channel can provide more videos.
Earned value in an Agile context. A team can only finish one story at a time. To complete a large feature that contains several stories, the team will have remaining stories to complete and may not complete that entire feature until several more time periods have passed. If a team needs to measure earned value, it can consider using this burn-up chart in this figure. Note that the left y-axis represents story points as scope, and the right y-axis represents the project spend. Traditional earned value measurement metrics like Schedule Performance Index, SPI, and Cost Performance Index, CPI, can be easily translated into Agile terms. For example, if the team planned to complete 30 story points in an iteration but only completed 25, then the SPI is 25/30 or 0.83. The team is working at only 83% of the rate planned. Likewise, CPI is the earned value, completed features value, to date divided by the actual costs to date. Earned value in an Agile context. Each team has its own capacity. When a team uses story points, be aware that the number of story points a team can complete in a given time is unique to that team. When teams provide their own units of measure, teams are better able to assess and estimate and deliver their work. The downside of relative estimation is that there is no way to compare teams or add velocity across teams. The team can measure completed work in a feature burn-up/burn-down chart and in a product backlog burn-up chart. Feature burn-up/burn-down charts may show that requirements grew during the project. The features complete line shows that the team completes features at a regular pace. The total features line shows how the project's total features changed over time. The features remaining burn-down line shows that the rate of feature completion varies. Every time features are added to the project, the burn-down line changes. Earned value in Agile is based on finished features. Therefore, when there are multiple teams in a project working independently, the only way to measure their progress is by feature chart, not by burn-down chart, because the burn-down chart is unique to each team and the unit of measurement is different for each team. Scrum of Scrum. Scrum of Scrums, SOS, also known as Metascrum, is a technique used when 2 or more Scrum teams consisting of 3 to 9 members each need to coordinate their work instead of one large Scrum team. A representative from each team attends a meeting with the other team representatives, potentially daily, but typically 2 to 3 times a week. The daily meeting is conducted similar to the daily stand-up in Scrum, where the representative reports completed work, next set of work, any current impediments, and potential upcoming impediments that might block the other teams. The goal is to ensure the teams are coordinating work and removing impediments to optimize the efficiency of all the teams. Large projects with several teams may result in conducting a Scrum of Scrums, which follows the same pattern as SOS with a representative from each SOS reporting into a larger group of representatives. Burn-up chart. Burn-up chart shows the work completed and can communicate the project performance. Especially with teams new to Agile, the burn-up will show changes in scope during the iteration. Burn-ups allow teams to see what they have accomplished, which helps the team proceed to the next piece of work. Burn-up charts help the team see what they have completed as the iteration progresses. At the end of the iteration, they might base their next measure of capacity, how many stories or story points, on what they completed in this iteration. That allows the product owner, along with the team, to replan what the team is more likely to succeed in delivering in the next iteration. Kanban. Flow-based Agile teams use different measurements. Lead time, the total time it takes to deliver an item, measured from the time it is added to the board to the moment it is completed. Cycle time, the time required to process an item. And response time, the time that an item waits until work starts. Teams measure cycle time to see bottlenecks and delays, not necessarily inside the team. Lead time is useful to understand cycle time from the first look at a particular feature to the length of time it took to release it to the customer. The work in progress WIP limits at the top of each column, shown in boxes here, allows the team to see how to pull work across the board. When the team has met its WIP limits, the team cannot pull work from the left into the next column. Instead, the team works from the rightmost full column and asks, what do we do as a team to move this work into the next column? Each feature is unique, so its cycle time is unique. However, a product owner might notice that smaller features have smaller cycle times. The product owner wants to see throughput, so the product owner creates smaller features or works with the team to do so. Burn-ups, burn-downs, capacity measures, and lead time and cycle time, predictability measures, are useful for in-the-moment measurements. They help a team understand how much more work they have and whether the team might finish on time. Iterative and Agile approach. Iterative and Agile approaches promote the engagement of team members as local domain experts in integration management. The team members determine how plans and components should integrate. The project manager's focus is on building a collaborative decision-making environment and ensuring the team has the ability to respond to changes. This collaborative approach can be further enhanced when team members possess a broad skill base rather than a narrow specialization. Agile team. Agile teams focus on rapid product development so they can obtain feedback. Team members are 100% dedicated to the teams. Agile encourages self-managing teams where team members decide who will perform the work within the next period's defined scope. Agile teams thrive with servant leadership. The leadership support the team's approach to their work. Cross-functional Agile teams produce functional product increments frequently. That is because the teams collectively own the work and together have all of the necessary skills to deliver completed work. Team members in successful Agile teams work to collaborate in various ways, such as pairing, swarming, and mobbing, so they do not fall into the trap of mini waterfalls instead of collaborative work. Mini waterfalls occur when the team addresses all of the requirements in a given period, then attempts to do all of the design, then moves on to do all of the building. When team members collaborate to produce a small number of features across the board, they learn as they proceed and deliver smaller finished features. Agile projects benefit from project team structures that improve collaboration within and among the teams.
If you like this video, you can subscribe, turn on the bell, share it, like it, and write comments so that this channel can provide more videos.